I want to kind of speak from the heart for a moment before I get into the details of the story. I have truly been trying to talk to women out there and mothers to just be more careful about who you date and that type of thing, because it can be a very, very dangerous situation, especially if you pick the wrong person, and vice versa, even with men who you date and stuff like that. But with this particular story, what happened was very unnecessary, and to even have any survivors, I think, is somewhat of a blessing. But the lives that we lost, we could never get back here. But the story is probably going to grab you in a special place, going to touch your heart in a special place, because maybe some of you guys can relate to some of these situations. Maybe you've been in a situation, a dangerous situation yourself. But I, again, talk to primarily ladies because you guys control so much of this power and these dynamics when it comes to choosing relationships and who you have relationships with, okay? Let me give you guys a disclaimer, and then we're going to get into some of these difficult details. Let's get it. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. So the source that I am using is a website called NBCMiami.com. So thank you for the article. Beautiful kids. So the only survivor in the story was actually that little girl that you guys see right there on the left-hand side of the screen. That's the biological father, but that is the only girl that survived in this particular story. So a woman and 3 of her children were shot and killed at an apartment complex in Pembroke Park Wednesday night, and authorities say that it was the father of the 2 children who pulled the trigger. Not this man. This is the father of one of the victims, the older kids, I believe. So she had, I think, 2 different baby daddies from what I understand. Nonetheless, the shooting happened before 7:30 p.m. And y'all got to forgive me because I do my best to try to research these stories, but the details are still really hard to kind of figure out what's what. That's the guy that we believe actually did it. That's responsible for these killings. Okay, so it happened before 7:30 p.m. near the 3100 block of Hallandale Beach Boulevard, according to Broward Sheriff's Office. Pembroke Park police officers responded to a 911 call about gunfire and found the victims, 32-year-old Julie Cruz, who was the mother on the right-hand side of the screen right there in that picture, 11-year-old Zion Solomon, who is the boy on the far right there. Let me see if I can get a better, more clear picture of him. That's Zion on the right-hand side. 2-year-old Nova McKenzie. Let me see if I can get their pictures up here. Okay. 2-year-old Nova McKenzie and 2-year-old Emery McKenzie dead inside the apartment. Really sad. An 8-year-old girl was also shot, which was, let me see. Go back. This baby right here. An 8-year-old girl was also shot and rushed to the hospital where she's in serious condition. Broward Sheriff's Office Public Information Office Claudine Caro said. She said the deceased children are boys. So we're hoping that that girl pulls through and she survives. That'd be an amazing, amazing blessing. The 35-year-old suspect, which is this fool right here, 35-year-old Stephen McKenzie, is believed to have opened fire on Cruz and the children and then himself. That's him in the middle, from what I understand. He is in the hospital in critical condition, and I thought he passed away, but I'm not actually sure. McKenzie shared the two-year-old children with Cruz, authorities said, but the extent of his relationship with Cruz was not clear. All the circumstances surrounding this case, what took place, what motivated this horrifying incident, and the death of this mother and these children is still under investigation. So I can give you guys an idea, just because I see so many of these stories and it happens so damn often. I can kind of give you an idea about what I think happened. Here's what I think happened. I think mom fell in love with this thug lion, and again, thug not being a skin color, thug being a behavior, right? not to confuse the two. And I think that the mother, initially, women are real attracted to these damn thugs, these damn fools, until something goes wrong and then they try to leave. And then you notice that the nature of the thug lion comes out and then it attacks. It just attacks. And it attacked everything and tried to murder and maul everything. And he pretty much did, with the exception of one exceptionally strong little girl that we pray and hope survives. So y'all put her prayer hands up in the chat. That'd be awesome to see that other girl survive. Okay? What I think happened, in my humble opinion, is I think that the mother was probably trying to break up with him. And this man, because see, here's the thing, and ladies, y'all tell me if I'm wrong about what I'm saying. Women want a man that ain't going to go nowhere. It's going to be dedicated to her and only her, and want her so bad that he be willing to die not having her. That's the mentality that you're asking for. In general, not all. Yes? Not all, in general. Some type of way, women believe that type of mentality is the thing that they want in a man because they don't want that man to go anywhere. They want to build a future with this person. And then they also, the other caveat to that is that they don't want that man to have eyes for other women. Yes, I see some of y'all are hitting the hearts in there, the 100s. So clearly somebody is agreeing with what I'm saying. They don't want that man to have eyes for anybody else. But it's like a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. That could be a good thing when things are good. But what do you do when things go bad and now you done piss this thug lion off? Now he comes to attack you. That same mentality that you saw as protective behavior is now going to be destructive behavior towards you and anything attached to you, including his own kids as well as another man's kids. Here's something that I also think about. This woman, and I mean no disrespect to the family because I know that the biological mother was hurt. I have a video of her getting the news and it was just incredibly sad. So my heart goes out to her. Let me say that. My heart goes out to the mother of which is the grandmother of these kids, the mother of the woman that was killed. It makes me wonder what was so bad about the biological father of the older children that you decided that wasn't going to work out. But then the relationship that you chose that you thought was going to be better than what you had prior, that now you want to build a life with this guy. And this is the one that takes all of y'all lives, including trying to take his own life. That's what you chose. And it put all the children in danger. And that's the thing that I cannot make an excuse for. And I cannot feel sorry for a mother in these situations because these children are going to be subjected to whatever circumstance you bring them. Let me say that again. Whether it be finances, whether it be the person that you decide to procreate with or build a life with or lack thereof, preparation or anything else, these children are going to be subjugated to whatever you bring them. That is why it is a great reward for being a parent and a mother, but it's also a huge responsibility to do the right thing and not be so fucking selfish to think that just because you're happy, you're with the right person. Y'all hear me? Uh-oh. Hope I didn't poke no strings in somebody. Hope I didn't piss nobody off. Hope nobody just unsubscribed for what I just said. We cannot be so selfish to think that just because we are happy, that's the right situation. Did everybody catch that? Hopefully that didn't go over nobody's head. That is where a mature parent has to be. There have been women that I have talked to because my kids are pretty much grown now. Y'all heard that. Y'all watched me for long enough. Y'all watch my kids actually grow up. Well, some of y'all have because I don't post them on her often. But some of y'all that know me have watched my kids grow up. Shoot, my daughter's going to be 18 this year. And it's just like, damn, are we really here? There have been women that I have chosen, especially when I used to keep my daughter the majority of the time in her formidable years. There was women I flat out, I wouldn't take women around my daughter, wouldn't have them around my daughter. And the second I saw some negative behavior, oh, they would never see my kid. Not at all. I did not want to expose my kid to my bad decisions or something that I thought was good for me that might not be good for my kid. And even that's not even completely foolproof. But at the same time, I at least thought enough of my own kid to not bring my kids around any type of danger like that. Right? So we got to do better. That's all I'm asking you to do. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Thug being a action, not a skin color. So they said that the neighbors heard gunshots. A neighbor who said he heard around 8 shots fired said that people involved are a family. He said he saw stairs in the building covered with blood. Golly. They said, and I quote, "It's crazy because I saw the family like many times. We live in the same building, so I saw them," he said. "They look like normal people, but you never know the problems of the people." Neighbor Juan Feliciano said that he heard several shots in quick succession, the children's screams, and then total silence. He said the family has lived there for more than 15 years. Now, I don't know what their living arrangement is. I'm assuming that maybe this mother lived there for 15 years, so she had some time with the older kid's dad and then some time with these younger kids' dad, assuming he's the dad. Because maybe that could have been a reason for argument. I don't know. Not a reason to behave like this, but maybe that could have precipitated some of this. Who knows? Anyway, let's skip some of this because this is what the neighbors are saying. Just blah, blah, blah. Y'all can go to there and just see what they said. The suspect's stepmother, Deon McKenzie, spoke to NBC6 about the murders. She and Stephen McKenzie's father are divorced. Very shocked about the situation, Deon McKenzie said. She is currently out of town, but says she is making her way back to South Florida to be with her children. She last saw her stepson a little more than a year ago. Let me see. I think I can skip some of this. He was always so respectful. I wouldn't dream of seeing him do something like this, especially to the kids, because he was so playful with kids and loving to kids. That part really gets to me. He has to be going through something. And again, the same way that I get onto the mothers, I don't care what these people are going through. It just needs to be punished. There is no excuse for behaving like this. So I don't make any excuses. I don't think he reacted out of his own mind because he's really a lover of kids. Well, you know, that's kind of a weird thing to say, considering the fact that this is what he ultimately did. But I digress. We'll get into more of the details in these news videos. So here we go.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
We just have to make a better effort of choosing better partners and just stop making babies with just anybody we fall in love with. Really got to start vetting better. That's on men and women's part, not just always blaming it on women. And I don't know why people always think I'm just always only getting on the black women. I love all people, and my message is really to help everybody. I don't know why people think I'm just like this colorist type person. I'm not a colorist. I think most people know that. But nonetheless, I still see the messages. I still see the comments. Guys, if you truly listen to my message, what do we talk more than anything about? What do we stand on? Advocates for children, like my shirt says. AFC, Advocates for Children. We advocate for children first. My message is always to advocate for children. It's just that simple.
We continue to learn more about the victims involved in the family tragedy last week in Pembroke Park. Today, we've learned that Stephen McKenzie, the shooter, has died. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Trina Robinson. We're also hearing from a mother after her adult daughter and 3 grandchildren were murdered. NBC6 reporter Amanda Placencia is at Joe DiMaggio Hospital in Hollywood with the latest details.
My oxygen, my daughter and my grandkids were my oxygen, so right now it's hard to breathe.
Irma Denise says the loss of her daughter, Julie Cruz, has been a heavy burden, and the loss of her 3 grandchildren, 11-year-old Zion, almost 3-year-old Nova, and 2-year-old Emery, has been unbearable.
I miss them terribly. For me, it feels like it's a nightmare.
Denise says Zion died trying to protect his siblings. As Denise copes with this tragedy, she remains at the hospital tending to her 8-year-old granddaughter, Phoenix Solomon, who was a lone survivor. She is progressing in her recovery, and Denise says she is working on opening a trust that will go to her granddaughter for physical and psychological therapy. Police say 34-year-old Stephen McKenzie is a shooter who also turned the gun on himself. He died in the hospital almost 5 days later. He was in a relationship with Cruz and was a father of Emery and Nova.
She called me on Tuesday that she was going to leave him this weekend. On Wednesday, I did not get to speak to her, and that's when it happened.
Denise tells us Mackenzie psychologically abused her daughter, and she was in the process of leaving him.
My daughter just called me and told me that she was exhausted from the mental abuse. It was up and down a lot.
Sybil.
Alrighty, now I hope y'all caught that. I'm going to rewind that just a little bit so y'all can hear it again. This is a choice that she made. If you guys need to hit the thumbs up, close the live chat and then you should be able to see the thumbs up. But it should be right there, an option for you to hit that thumbs up if you can. Please share this video. It'll make more people see it. So if y'all help us with that, that'll help us quite a bit. Let me let y'all hear what she said again. This abuse that she chose to continue to deal with was an ongoing thing. Now, you notice how people were trying to say that he was so loving to the kids. And, well, you know, that seems to be a bit of a paradox, how you're this loving, caring, healing, and feeling type person being in touch with your feminine side. Sorry, that's a quote from The Little Rascals. If y'all ever watched that movie, sorry. But how can you be so loving, healing, and feeling, but then turn around and treat the kids like this and commit domestic violence multiple times? Listen at what this lady says.
Leaving him.
My daughter just called me and told me that she was exhausted from the mental abuse. It was up and down. Our daughter just called me and told me that she was exhausted from the mental abuse. It was up and down a lot.
Abuse is abuse. Mental or not, abuse is abuse. That's your first and only warning sign. The first time you see it, it's time to go. Like the movie Get Out, get out.
Sybil Rivera says she used to teach the 2 toddlers, Nova and Emery.
Every day they would come and they were like happy kids. They were little rambunctious little 2-year-olds.
She says she never imagined they would be gone.
Innocent little kids. But we never, their dad always came and nothing seemed odd. We knew that they were separated. We knew that something was going on, but nothing like this. You know, nothing like this, nothing.
Zion and Phoenix were students at ECB Educational K-8 Center. The principal sent this statement, which read in part, Zion.
Now at 6, police say the man accused of shooting a mother and her 4 children and then himself has died. He initially survived the gunshot wound and was rushed to the hospital, but he never recovered. And tonight, we're hearing from that woman's mother as her granddaughter, the lone survivor of this deadly attack, is still in the hospital. Good evening, I'm Elliot Rodriguez.
And I'm Lauren Pastrana. Thank you for joining us. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister joins us live now from the hospital in Hollywood, where that 8-year-old girl is being treated tonight. And Anna, what did her grandmother say about the family?
Well, Lauren Elliott, the grandmother tells me, thankfully, 8-year-old Phoenix Solomon, she is improving. So that is great news. Probably the silver lining in this entire tragedy that we've been talking about for the last few days. The grandmother tells me that she's taking it 1 hour at a time, and she says she can't even express the pain in her heart after losing her 32-year-old daughter, Julie Cruz, and her 3 grandsons. Now, I want to bring you to some video from the scene from last week. This all happened Wednesday evening. We're told by BSO that 34-year-old Stephen McKenzie, who was partners with 32-year-old Julie Cruz, shot her 11-year-old son, Zion Solomon, her 8-year-old daughter, Phoenix Solomon, and her 2 youngest children, Emery and Nova McKenzie. Those are the 2 youngest sons, and they were the sons of McKenzie, before turning the gun on himself. When police arrived at the scene, Julie and her 3 sons were deceased, and Stephen McKenzie and Phoenix Solomon, they were taken to the hospital, where we're told by BSO that McKenzie died from his injuries on Thursday. That brave little girl, Phoenix, she is still fighting. Her grandmother, like I said, told us that she's doing a bit better. And we talked to Irma Rivera, that's the name of the grandmother, and the mother of Julie Cruz, who told us a little bit more about her daughter and her grandchildren.
She was a hardworking mom. She wouldn't trust her kids with anybody. She very devoted to her children, to my grandson, taking him to his practices, football practice. The 2 little ones, Emery and Nova, they're just so adorable. They were so happy children.
And Irma also told me that her daughter previously mentioned to her that she was going through some mental abuse at the hands of McKenzie, but says that her daughter never told her of any physical abuse. She also said that her daughter had planned to move out and to leave McKenzie this past weekend, but tragically, he took her life, the life of those children.
Boom. Right there. You had him hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. You had him locked in, and then you tell him that you're about to tear his whole world apart by leaving him. And look at how he behaved. It is a dangerous game that we play to want somebody to be locked in and engaged with us. And you say, I love you. It's forever. We're going to always be together. We're going to live together. We're going to have a family. We're building kids and building a life. And next thing you know, you look up and you're just like, you know what? Fuck all of that. I don't want none of that no more. And I don't want you. Matter of fact, get out and I'm leaving. It's a difficult thing for anybody to deal with, to go through that. This is definitely not the answer. You can't respond like this. But again, when you're not dealing with the right person that can mentally handle that, it's like, what are you telling them? You said she could have left without telling him. Yeah, as best as you possibly can. My whole thing is I would just hope that people who would behave like this, you just wouldn't even deal with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where my bigger point is. But that's what it was. She tried to leave, and he was going to take her life. This is going to be a little bit heart-wrenching. This is actually the grandmother learning of the news right then and there. And this broke my heart to watch this lady be so devastated. I'm going to play it because it's short.
That's my daughter! That's my daughter!
Broward County deputies say a woman and 3 children were found shot dead.
That's my daughter! That's my daughter!
Broward County deputies say a woman and 3 children were found shot dead inside this apartment complex off of Hallandale Beach Boulevard around 7:30 last night. A man and another child were taken to local hospitals for treatment.
Boom, 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 boom. I heard the cries out.
Chopper 6 flew over the scene Thursday morning. Investigators seen going in and out of the unit for nearly 12 hours. A table sat outside the apartment with what appears to be evidence.
It was very quiet, nice family. I never heard anything loud, never argument, nothing. I couldn't hardly sleep all night when I think about how loving they seem to me.
Se ve una familia feliz.
Juan Feliciano tells us he actually ran into the family in the elevator about an hour before the shooting. Says the family has lived there for more than 15 years and never thought something like this would ever happen.
And we're learning more about the victims of a family tragedy in Pembroke Park. A mother and her 4 children shot. Only one child survived and is fighting for her life. Deputies say the man who pulled the trigger then tried to end his own life.
And tonight we're hearing from the father of 2 of those children in Local 10's Terrell Forney live now in Hollywood.
So I forgot, this is actually why I want to play this part, because I wanted y'all to hear from the older kid's biological father. So here he is.
With the heartbreaking details, Terrell.
And Calvin, those children were from 2 different relationships, but they were all siblings. And
James, that's your guess on that is as good as anybody's guess could be. Said he was angry with her. Why take it out on the children? It's just, there's no rhyme or reason to it at all, to even behave this way at all. Like, you know, even me thinking, like, why couldn't he just accept a breakup and then just move on like most responsible adults would have to do? We all would have to learn to do that. Anybody who's had kids and thought they were going to be in a relationship with the person that they had kids by, it ends, or a marriage that has ended and you've had to move on. You had to move on. We all had to move on responsibly. You know, we all had to move on with a level of integrity and maturity. Maturity is the word that I was looking for.
shared the very same mother. Tonight, family members are...
A church lady, you said it well. Crazy folks do not think logically. So I think that would pretty much just explain it. Just dismiss them and call them crazy, because that's all it is.
telling us that the lone young survivor is remaining strong here in the hospital as she continues to fight for her life.
I just lost my son. My daughter's fighting for her life right now.
It's a double dose of pain for Kelvin Solomon.
It's hard to really put it into words.
Both of Kelvin's kids were among 6 people shot Wednesday night in a family tragedy. 8-year-old Phoenix is the only victim who survived.
And how is your daughter doing?
She's doing a lot better. It's still touch and go right now. But we just stand at her side right now and hoping for the best.
Phoenix's mother, 32-year-old Julie Cruz, was killed after investigators say her partner, 34-year-old Stephen McKenzie, opened fire on his family inside of the couple's 4th-floor Pembroke Park apartment building.
Everybody in this building heard it. You couldn't miss it.
Detectives believe that accused gunman then shot his own 2 sons, Nova and Emery, a pair of toddlers just 2 years old, killing them both. And then they say he shot their other siblings, critically injuring Phoenix and killing Zion, who were from a previous relationship between Julie and Kelvin, all before turning the gun on himself.
I just don't know why he would do something like that. It's a question that I don't know if I will ever get the answer.
My son was very brave in trying to protect and shield his mother and his siblings from this cowardly attack.
I said no.
Here is video from social media of Julie in happier times with her toddlers.
They looked happy. It was a nice, beautiful family.
The husband, 15, 20 minutes before it happened, he was at the laundry. Matter of fact, the laundry basket is still at the laundry room.
A domestic violence tragedy that has robbed the world of 4 young shining lights. Zion, in fact, excelled at sports.
Actually, he just won the championship in the ice sports league right here. He just gave this to me and his grandma maybe about 2 weeks ago.
So as that father mourns the loss of his son, we know that he is praying for a positive outcome for his daughter, who he tells us it remains in critical condition here in the hospital. We know that that accused gunman is also receiving treatment at Hollywood Memorial Regional Hospital for that self-inflicted gunshot wound, but he is technically in the custody of the Broward Sheriff's.
So the suspect did pass away. We're still pulling and praying for the little girl. Let me see if I can get her face back up here, which is the lone survivor, is this baby right here on the left-hand side of that picture. So y'all put a prayer heads up in the chat and pray for her and pray that she makes a full recovery. That'd be awesome. And such a very, very sad situation. Again, choosing the right mentality, choosing the right man, choosing the right time, choosing the right situation, rather than just thinking about our own happiness. That goes for men and women. I primarily talk to a lot of women, but I'm talking to both sides, man. Just make sure we choose right and be patient, because patience can really, really reap good benefits. I talk to my kids about this type of stuff all the time. To the ones that were lost in this story, minus the perpetrator, may their souls rest in peace. All of them. Beautiful kids, just everybody losing their life was just really, really sad. But y'all, do me a favor, if there's something that you disagree with in this story, maybe even the way that I see things, I would love for you to challenge me in the chat. Post a comment and let me know what you guys think. But let's have a dialogue about this. But again, don't argue me on feelings. Argue with me on facts, because I say things, and the things that I say are all rooted in facts and things that I think will make us all better. Okay? Thank you. Number 2. This story and the name of this girl really touched the whole nation. I know it went viral in so many other places. Like every once in a while when we talk about certain stories, I know we will get a large amount of traffic over here when we're speaking about certain stories. But nonetheless, it's still an honor for me to speak on this baby's behalf and what she went through and what her father did to her. It's just something you wouldn't think a human would do. It's something that you think that even the mentality of a person, even the title of being called a father, you wouldn't ever think to do what this man did. He did the unthinkable. And this is just getting worse and worse the more that this goes through court. We got a little bit of information to give you guys that might be updates to a lot of y'all. So let's talk about Kimani Latigue. Let me give you a disclaimer and then we'll go from there. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. So my source for this particular story update is 13abc.com. So if they're listening, thank you for this article. A Lucas Grand County jury indicted the man, the father, accused of abducting and killing his own daughter in Toledo, Ohio. So Ohio took a huge L with this story. Darnell Jones. Who? Darnell Jones. This bitch, this alleged father, this alleged man, this alleged human, who also goes by Darnell Ogletree, Darnell Jones, whatever you want to call him. He is accused of killing his own 13-year-old daughter by the name of Kimani Latigue and leaving her body in an abandoned home. The grand jury indicted him Wednesday on more than a dozen charges, unveiling new information in the case. So if y'all have not heard some of this stuff, you might want to brace yourself because it might be triggering. Let me give you a disclaimer. The following video might contain material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. That is the only other disclaimer you're going to get. All right. Now, the grand jury returned an indictment accusing Jones of aggravated murder, rape, kidnapping, aggravated burglary, endangering children, gross abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. That is just not even comprehensible. Incomprehensible. A breakdown of those charges and the corresponding specifications are shown in the charging document below. So get ready for this. The capital murder case means that Jones could face the death penalty if convicted, according to the Ohio Revised Code. And if we believe everything that happened here, I hope that he gets the death penalty. I hope he gets the firing squad. What do y'all think about that? I don't know if you can get that option in Ohio, but if you could, I would love to see that happen. This case involves one of the most heinous sets of facts I've seen in more than 40 years working in Lucas County Prosecutor's Office, which is a statement from Lucas County Prosecutor Julia Bates. If not this case, then which case? We will try this case not in the court of public opinion, but in a courtroom with a professional team defined by compassion, integrity, and commitment to the rule of law. We are determined. So, of course, they're talking about us YouTubers. If y'all didn't know that, us YouTubers, us content creators, we have an opinion, and we're always going to have an opinion because I believe that we can really, really, truly make a difference if we all work together and start spreading the news, spreading the stories. If you see something, say something, tell on these sons of bitches. If y'all see something wrong, protect these kids. And maybe causing people like this to suffer the death penalty might just scare people enough to not do some stupid shit like this. Sometimes consequences is the only thing that people understand. Now, we are determined to deliver justice for Kimani Latigue for everyone in our community affected by this tragedy. The indictment marks the first official filings that include any allegations of sexual abuse against the teen. A Columbus police official previously said that the victim had been raped. Though law enforcement officials handling the case in Lucas County did not corroborate that information at the time, they didn't want it to come out, but it is definitely out now. The new filings allege the crimes against Kimani Latigue happened on or about March the 17th through March the 18th, roughly about 2 days, given a timeline for her abduction and death from authorities for the first time. The developments come just days after authorities refiled charges against Jones in Toledo Municipal Court, which shows this fool Jones allegedly admitted to police that he dragged his own daughter Kei'Mani to the abandoned home and killed her there, among other nasty ass shit that he did. He is due back in court for his arraignment on April the 30th, which, depending on when you're watching this, is actually going to be tomorrow. So maybe if we can get that live stream, that'd be awesome. Y'all have my email, theafcmatters@gmail.com, right here below me. Send it to me if y'all can find that court stream, the live stream, if it's even there. Now, here's a timeline as far as what we know so far. The Lucas County indictment says Jones allegedly kidnapped, raped, and killed Kei'Mani on or about March the 17th through March the 18th. Point number 2. Toledo police announced the teen was missing on March the 18th. Point number 3, 13 Action News spoke to Darnell Jones and Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy Latigue, about the girl's disappearance on March the 19th, though he was not considered a suspect at that time. Jones told us he last seen his daughter around 12:30 a.m. on March the 17th. No one else had seen her before roughly 10:30 p.m. on March the 16th. Jones, the dad, said Kei'Mani called him and said she was afraid to be home alone. I came over here because she said that it seemed like somebody was trying to break into the house. Me and my cousin sat over here for an hour and we left around 12:30-ish, Jones said. The community held a search party for Kei'Mani on March 21st, the Friday after her disappearance. Jones' then girlfriend told Action 13 News that the same day, Jones asked her to turn off the cameras at their home, adding that a relative saw him acting suspiciously when he hid a mat under the stairs in the house. The woman said Jones later called her from Columbus, so she told police where to find him. Another point, 2 days later, on Sunday, March 23rd, prosecutors filed an abduction charge against Darnell Jones. Investigators found Kimani Latigue's body at an abandoned home on Miami Street on Monday, March the 24th. And the final point, police found Darnell Jones in Columbus on Tuesday, March the 25th. The SWAT officers shot him when he grabbed a gun during a confrontation. He was hospitalized for his injuries in the shooting. And they got a whole big old document there. It is, I don't know, a lot of reading there. Whole lot of reading, but again, you can find it on 13abc.com if y'all want to look that up. If you ask me, this man should be skinned alive, even though that is not something you can legally do to punish somebody. You can think it. You just can't do it. It ain't legal. But firing squad could potentially be legal as a death sentence. But nonetheless, we need to get justice.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
I thought they said at some point he actually had some arson charges prior to this incident. So I don't know if that house was burned up because of him or whatever the case is. I don't know that for a fact. But I do like to question, what do y'all think about that house being burned up like that? It's just, it makes you wonder if maybe he had something to do with that too. Y'all do me a favor, hit that thumbs up if you're listening. Here we go. Let's take a look at the news videos, which I don't have up here yet, but I will get them up here. Let me swap this out. And let me know if the audio is good. I tried to fix the audio on this, so this should be pretty good audio. Here we go.
The investigation began on Tuesday, March 18th. Kei'Mani's grandmother and legal guardian, Dorothy Latigue, tells 11 Investigates she came home from work early that morning and noticed things were out of place.
I usually get off of work at 9 o'clock. I made it home like 9:40 that morning. She wasn't here. There were things in the floor that should not have been. That's what caused the alarm. So I called the school to speak with her. I asked them, could I speak with her? And then they did. They contacted the principal, her teacher, and the gym teacher, and all three of those guys said that she was not there.
That's when she called police. By Friday, March 21st, the community came together to search for Kei'Mani. That effort included her mother, Tiara Caston, who lives in Cleveland.
I saved her on the 15th. Her dad brought her down to my house, and apparently my mother gave him permission. And honestly, it was just me loving on my kid. You know, we played video games. We played, we talk mess. You know, that's what we do. We roast each other, all types of stuff, but it's all love.
This is breaking me. I've been falling the apart since I found out. I've legitimately been on social media since the minute I found out, spreading awareness, sending out flyers, contact information, anything to get my baby home. I have not slept in 3 days. I have not ate in 3 days.
Police tracked phone records, reviewed surveillance footage, and talked to witnesses. That led them to a man identified as Kei'Mani's father, 33-year-old Darnell Jones. Detectives believed he was the last person with her. TPD says Jones provided inconsistent statements. By Sunday, March 23rd, he was charged with abduction. An arrest warrant was issued.
This man has been to my house several times. He usually takes her for weekends to his house to visit with him and his other children. And I feel deceived. Like, you played for so long in my face, like you was her dad, like you really had her best interests at heart. But where is she?
The next day, Monday, March 24th, police found Kei'Mani's body in a burned-out house on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office determined she suffered multiple deep cuts to her neck, and an autopsy determined her death a homicide. Jones was charged with murder.
We are working the case as fast as we can. As I said before, I think we're in a really good place investigatively, and I think as soon as we can button everything up and run down every lead, the last thing we want to do is be premature in our charges or premature in saying, this is the only suspect we have, we're good. We don't like to do that. We like to make sure we investigate everything out there, so when we do take this to trial, there is no room for doubt.
Authorities tracked their suspect to Columbus, where body cam video showed Jones reaching for a gun. Then An officer shot him multiple times.
Show me your hands right now. Pull your hand out of your. I swear to God, pull your.
Shots fired! Shots fired! This was an individual wanted for homicide out of Toledo. I called my union counterpart in Toledo. I said, hey, good news, we have your guy. Your guy committed a murder, chose to fled to our town. I'll tell you right now, the wrong town to come to if you murder somebody. Our SWAT team will go out looking for you. This case is one of the most horrific cases I ever heard. This is a 14-year-old that was murdered, raped, had her hands cut off, and her throat almost cut off. This is an absolute animal that came into our town.
Jones survived and was hospitalized in Columbus. He remained there through Wednesday, April 9th, when he was moved to the Franklin County Jail awaiting arraignment the following morning.
I feel hurt. I've lost somebody in the city of Toledo that's been is so dear to me. And I feel like she kind of became part of Toledo.
The case has drawn the attention of so many people here in the Toledo community and even outside. There are passionate conversations and pleas for justice across social media, as well as criticism of Lucas County Children's Services.
I want to hear from CSB. We all do. What happened? What was the missing link? Where was the disconnect?
This is a concern to us here at Lucas County, because I want to be clear. We have no record of any call from a mandated reporter or community member for an entire year prior to her murder. We have no record of anyone from Toledo Public Schools ever calling us with respect to Kei'Mani. We have no record of anyone calling us ever with concerns about Darnell Jones.
By March 27th, the Lucas County Commissioners formed a task force to look into the agency. The goal? To identify any shortcomings, but not investigate how Children's Services handled Kei'Mani's case.
So the task force is not to examine a single case. Our shared goal is broader to ensure that every child and every family in Lucas County receives the protection and the care they deserve. Nothing can be more important. I look forward to working with the community's volunteer who will be a part of this process.
Just look at our history when we've done task force before. Look at TARDA. We committed to make a change to a substantial change. Health Department, they needed change, we made change. I'll stand on our record of not just talking. Nobody here is just we're not going to spend 9 months analyzing a problem. You know, we know it. We're going to know what the problem is, then we're going to go after it. I can't make any commitments today of what that looks like because nobody knows. But it goes where it goes. It's outside in, and we're going to get started.
Lucas County Children's Services has since sent out a news release. It's explained it can't release some information because of privacy laws, and other facts could create challenges for prosecutors as Kei'Mani's alleged killer faces trial.
Because the understandable facts and the understandable rationale, we're not able to do that right now. But yeah, I do think that once this prosecution is over, and with the help of the task force, I think we'll be able to release our files and let the people judge how we responded prior to Kei'Mani's death.
The agency spoke publicly during a news conference on Tuesday, April 8th. Executive Director Randy Muth revealed a report by Kei'Mani's former teacher was investigated, along with another incident of excessive physical discipline by Kei'Mani's grandmother. Those happened in December of 2023 and March of 2024, and both situations ended without sufficient evidence to warrant removing Kei'Mani from the home.
So now y'all are hearing about the accusations against the grandmother. So that might be some of the information that they're holding on to that they haven't really put out there yet. But I think there's going to be more coming in this story. So just stand by. I'm pretty sure we're going to do at least a couple more updates with this, for sure.
We determined that the placement there was appropriate. All the basic needs of the child were being met. She was getting all of her sustenance, her housing conditions were fine, her school and medical conditions were being met.
All right, Brian, so a ton to unpack here. This case is still in the very early stages. The dad
Thanks for joining us tonight. We want to start off with the latest developments in the murder of 13-year-old Kei'Mani Latigue.
Darnell Jones Ogletree, the man accused of killing her, has been indicted by a grand jury. We are also learning new information about the day that Kei'Mani was reported missing.
So for those of y'all who have been following the story, did y'all not hear about that? Y'all didn't hear about the grandmother and potentially her being linked to some of this abuse and misuse and stuff like that? So if that's new to y'all, then yes, there's some allegations, there are some thoughts and belief that there might be more charges coming for more people. But I digress for now. We don't know that for a fact. But just keep that in mind as we go forward. When more information comes out, it could be starting tomorrow, then we will kind of go from there.
Including conversations that police had with Jones.
We've got live team coverage tonight. Silver Barker has more on Jones's charges, and lead investigator Brian Duggar has more on the police report.
And we want to start with Silver. So how many charges is he facing in all?
Yeah, Jeff, first, this is now a capital murder case. Jones is facing a total of 15 charges, including aggravated murder for the death of 13-year-old Kimani Latigue. Now, he also faces charges with rape, kidnapping, and tampering with evidence. Toledo police said in a court document that Jones admitted to dragging Kimani Latigue involuntarily to an abandoned home and killing her. Lucas County prosecutor Julia Bates sent us a statement about the indictment. She says, quote, "This case involves one of the most heinous sets of facts I've seen in more than 40 years working in the Lucas County prosecutor's office." She also says, "We will try this case, not in the court of public opinion, but in a courtroom with a professional team defined by compassion, integrity, and commitment to the rule of law." Now, Jones is now eligible for the death penalty, as this is a capital crime. However, we did reach out to Bates regarding if she would seek the death penalty. However, we have not got that answered yet. We'll continue to keep you guys updated as we learn more. Reporting live in downtown Toledo, Silver Barker, WTOL 11.
So we now know that Kei'Mani Latigue's father has been indicted in the rape and murder of the 13-year-old girl. But our 11 Investigates team is finding out even more information about the day that she disappeared. Lead investigator Brian Duggar joining us as our team coverage continues. Brian?
Yeah, we obtained a police report this morning that indicates Kei'Mani's father, Darnell Jones, was at the house when police arrived to investigate her disappearance. And he told police Kei'Mani called him and asked him to come over because people were trying to break into her Elm Street home. And Darnell told police he stayed with her until 12:30 in the morning and then he left. Now, Kei'Mani's grandmother, Dorothy, arrived home at 9:30 in the morning. She told police she noticed several unusual things. The door was not locked. She found Kei'Mani's glasses and house keys inside, and all 4 stovetop eyes and the oven were turned on. And also very concerning for Dorothy was the discovery of Kei'Mani's underwear and pajama bottoms in the dining room. This was not a location where the girl would change, Dorothy told police. Now, we know from court documents that Jones told police he killed Kei'Mani in the Miami Street home where her body was found, but we don't know where police believe she was sexually assaulted. Could that clothing be an indication it was done inside her home? It is one of several questions we still can't answer. Reporting in studio, this is Brian Duggar for 11 Investigates.
And we will continue to cover any new information about this case as it emerges, both on air and online. Right now on WTOL 11+, you can watch the full video of crew.
So, in closing, again, we'll talk about the grandmother another time. But if anybody has a link, like I say, to that live stream, I'll probably look for it. But if you have it, you can send it to me to afcmatters@gmail.com. He's supposed to be going to court tomorrow. I don't know if that's just like a preliminary thing. I'm not really sure. But if we can get some more detailed information, then we'll report it. Like I say, if it's just something small, then we'll do an update at another time. But again, to Kimani Latigue, Princess, let me get his face off the screen. Boy, it pisses me off. Let me get her face back up here. Young Princess, R.I.P. So we hope to get justice, and swift justice at that. So make sure you guys stay tuned in on this story. We'll definitely do more updates, okay? Thank you.